Good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar, Korea, Leading the Way for Meetings, a Model of Safety in the COVID-19 Era. My name is Barbara Scofidio, and I'm the editor of Prevue magazine, and I'll be the moderator of today's event. I'd like to start by introducing four very special guests. Ellen Kim, Regional Director, Latte Hotels. We've got Dowie Kwok, Assistant Director, Seoul Tourism Organization. Welcome, Dowie. Jory Hsiao, Manager, Meetings and Incentives, Korea Tourism Organization. And last but not least, Steve Young, Executive Director, Korea Tourism Organization. Before we begin, just a couple of housekeeping items and we'll get rolling. During this presentation, feel free to enter your questions in the question box. We'll gather them together and hold a Q&A at the end of the presentation. And we've got four very knowledgeable people here to answer your questions. If you miss something, don't worry. If you get pulled away from your desk, the webinar is being recorded and you'll receive a link via your email to access the recording at your leisure. You will also receive, as with all Prevue webinars, one CEU from the Events Industry Council. So sit back, get comfortable. We're starting now with Steve. Welcome, Steve Young, Executive Director, Korea Tourism.
Hello, hello to all meeting planners and meeting related persons. This is my pleasure to welcome all of you to webinar about Korea MICE industry. I hope you and your family will be fine during the pandemic, and I hope everyone will be fine. Okay, I'd like to share some lessons about what Korea is doing during the pandemic. So, and how the Korea is dealing with the coronavirus pandemic now. So it could be some point that we have to follow from now on. So we have Korea show some good lessons to the world. Yes, first most of all, we prevent further infection to citizens and hospitals. So Korea facilitates the development of rapid response, such as drive-through testing site and walk-in testing site at an early stage of the pandemic. And we cover all COVID-19 medical expense. Korean government is covering all medical costs associated with coronavirus for its citizens as well as foreigners living in the country. So visitors to Korea can have tested and treated if they confirm the virus. And then next one, maximize the benefit of information and communication technology. Korea uses modern information and communication technology such as GPS phone tracking and credit card transaction and surveillance camera. So when someone tests positive, Korean government can trace where they have been, at what time, and what mode of transportation they use. With this data, we can trace the potentially infected population and issues right after issue the alerts to the public. And next one is transparency. We exercise as much transparency in information relating to coronavirus as possible. We publish the movement information of citizens who tested positive, the number of infection, the exact locations they visited, mode of transportation they use, but we not publish personal information of the infected people for their privacy. Korea's experience highlights the importance of cutting the chain of infection in the country by supplying the hospitals and medical workers with the proper equipment and gears, testing and isolating infected citizens from the general public, and encouraging the practice of wearing masks, proper social distancing, also creating a sense of trust between government and the people by being transparent is fundamentally important in this individual war against the virus. Currently, Korea has a 14-day quarantine period to the incoming visitors, but we have exception. businessmen and the participants of academic conference in Korea, they don't need to go through the quarantine period. But instead, they need to get a quarantine exemption certificate from the Korean embassy or the Korean Consul General in the USA. With the exemption certificate, they don't go through they don't need the 14-day quarantine, so they can do the activity right after they arrive in the Incheon airport. And finally, I want to introduce some videos, some short videos. It's about Korea, and it's about Korean attraction in terms of the meetings, convention, incentive travel. Enjoy the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. I have to say I had the pleasure of visiting Korea last summer, and that video is just an excellent, it's the first time I've seen it, representation of all there is for the meeting group and the meeting attendee. So nice job on that video. But I'd like to take this time to bring back Jury, who is going to speak and do a presentation on the mice market. And so it's all yours, Jury.
Thank you. First of all, thank you everyone for joining our webinar today. So I'm Jury Seo from Korea Tourism Organization, and I'm just going to present general facts about Korea and the meetings industry in Korea today. So first of all, some facts about Korea. The time difference is 9 hours in GMT. The population is 50 million people. The capital city is in Seoul with population of 10 million. The language is Korean. However, English is very widely spoken, so the English signs are available at the most of the places. Government is democracy. Religions are various, like Christianity, Buddhism, and so on. Traffic is right-hand sided, just like US. And for US citizens, they can come to Korea without visa, and they can stay up to 90 days. And it is the same for 150 countries. And last year, Korea had the most number of foreign visitors came to Korea, having more than 7.5 million visitors in 1 year. In most of the places, we accept major credit cards. And in Korea, no tipping is required, so you don't have to pay any tips. However, some of the hotels, drivers, and guides can accept some of the tips if you wish to pay them. Just like US, we have 4 distinct seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. So why should have a meeting in Korea? Korea is one of the top convention countries in the world. And the capital city, Seoul, is also among the top most popular meeting cities in the world. Korea also hosted an event of every size, just like G20 Seoul Summit in 2010. And in 2016, more than 45,000 Rotarians gathered at our biggest convention center called Kintex in 2016. South Korea had ranked the first place for the world's most innovative country in the world. Accessibility is very important for you guys. And there are 90 airlines are available in Korea, and Korea connects 59 countries and 188 cities around the world. Despite of the size of a small country, there are 11 cities where meetings can be hosted. So let me talk about some of the infrastructure of Korea. Incheon International Airport is the big major international airport in Korea, and it is constantly ranking the top among the best airport in the world. Since it is a huge in size, it includes many of the facilities like culture center, garden, spa, golf course near the airport, and ice rink, and so on. This is some of the major gateways between United States and Korea. There are 13 cities that bound directly to Korea. The flight hour is between 10 to 15 hours, depends on the cities. Domestic flight is also available if you plan to host a meeting in our beautiful island, Jeju Island, or the largest port city, Busan. It takes only 1 hour domestic flight from Seoul. High-speed train called KTX is also available to get to the major meeting cities, and there are 4 lines from Seoul, and it takes 2 to 3 hours. Public transportations are very convenient, well-organized, as well as affordable in Korea. And English announcements are also made in these public transportations, so travelers don't have to worry about the language. This number, 1330, is 24/7 free service with English languages available. Whenever travelers have any kinds of problem, they can dial this number and get assistance. So let me talk about some of the convention centers and meeting facilities in Korea. There are over 100 meetings facilities and 12 major convention centers in Korea. This is the latest landmark of Korea located in Seoul. It is the 6th tallest building with 123 floors, and it is a multi-purpose building with 5-star hotel, convention center, and many other facilities. Here are some of the pictures of the landmark. It also has observation deck, which people can oversee the capital city Seoul. COEX is the biggest convention center in Seoul. Province Incheon also have a convention center called Songdo Convention, which is located very near to the airport, and it takes 1 hour drive from Seoul. Kintex is the biggest convention center in Korea, located in Gyeonggi Province, and it takes about 40-minute drive from Seoul. The largest port city, Busan, has a convention center called Exco, and you can get to Busan by high-speed train from Seoul, which takes you about 2 to 3 hours, or by domestic flight with 1 hour flight. Jeju Island also have a convention center where the meetings can be hosted, and domestic flight, it takes 1 hour. There are more than 900 accommodations available in Korea, from 5-star international chains to more affordable local brands. In most of the public areas, free Wi-Fi is provided, and plus you can enjoy the world's fastest internet. Speed of the internet. Safety is very important, and it is safe to travel around Korea. And tourist police assistance is available at the major tourist attractions like Seoul, Busan, and Incheon. So some of the tourism in Korea. Since Korea has a very long history, over 5,000 years, there are both modern and traditional cultures and unique venues coexisted in one country. There are 14 World Heritages that are registered by UNESCO. In Seoul, there are 5 royal palaces within the city center of Seoul. And we also have a modern, unique venue called Floating Island, and it is an artificial island featuring convention centers, dinings, and cafes, where it is a perfect place for smaller gatherings or gala dinner after the event. In provinces Gyeonggi and Incheon, Korean Folk Village is located, where people can feel the Korean traditional life. And in Songdo, there is a 5-star luxury hotel, which was built with Korean traditional architecture. The militarized zone is a border barrier that divides the Korean peninsula in half. Joint security area is the only portion of DMZ where 2 forces can stand face to face. Korea also hosted Winter Olympic in 2018 in Pyeongchang, and this destination is getting very popular for winter getaway destination or winter outdoor activities. Also, there are other major convention cities like Daejeon, Daegu, and Gwangju. Busan is also a perfect place for meetings destination, where they have the largest department store as well as beautiful beaches where people can enjoy after the event. Jeju Island is also one of the popular destinations for international meetings. Some of the unique cultures in Korea. We have both modern and traditional cultures like mask dance and K-pop, of course. K-pop and K-drama are getting very popular throughout the world. Hanok is a Korean traditional house. There are a variety of attractions that can be done in Korea, like nature, shopping, nightlife, cultural activities, entertainment, as well as wellness. Hanok Stay is a very unique experience where people can stay at the Korean traditional house overnight. Temple Stay is where people can stay at the temple overnight and experience as a monk. Variety of Korean traditional cuisine where people are served with all of those complimentary side dishes. Lastly, what KTO can support you. Korea MICE Bureau under Korean Tourism Organization is a top national bureau, and we coordinate with regional convention bureau like Seoul Convention Bureau and other meeting stakeholders to support you in various ways. Those ones who are eligible, like over 100 overseas attendees staying in Korea at least 3 days, they are eligible to apply for subvention program, which includes official banquet and coffee break, cultural tour programs, cultural performances, and souvenirs. Those ones who are having more than 1,000 overseas attendees, they are eligible to apply for premium additional support. These include digital welcome signage at the international airport, MICE concierge desk, exclusive immigration checkpoint at the airport, Korea tourism booth on event sites, events mobile application development support, as well as complimentary site inspection. So this is the end of my presentation, and thank you everyone for watching the presentation today.
Thank you so much. That was very informative. So we're going to move to our next speaker, but before we do, I'd like to remind people, please do send in your questions at the end of our couple of other presentations. We're leaving as much time as we can to answer them. So on to Dowie Kwok from Seoul Tourism Organization, and we will hear a lot more about Seoul specifically. Welcome.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's very nice meeting you. My name is Dowie Kwak at the Seoul Tourism Organization. And today I wanted to introduce Seoul as a MICE destination and show you what our city is doing to boost business events. But first, a brief overview of Seoul. As many of you here may know already, Seoul is the ancient and royal capital of South Korea. It's known for its accessibility, advanced technology, convenient public transportation, K-pop, and an exciting nightlife. Seoul is also a very popular business events destination. Seoul has ranked 3rd among UIA meeting cities for 5 consecutive years already, and 15th among ICA meeting cities. And we've done this all along with 284 Seoul MICE Alliance companies. Due to the current COVID-19 pandemic across the globe, Seoul is committed to offer infection-free zone as well as reassuring package for foreign visitors, so that the visitors know that they are safer in Seoul than any other cities in the world. I just mentioned reassuring package. It's Seoul MICE Easy Travel Care Service. It covers 6 different services. Number 1, medical care. Number 2, travel care. 3, airport care. 4, business care. Number 5, travelers free insurance. And number 6, call center operation. We also provide thermal imaging cameras and hygiene kits, consist of masks, antimicrobial wipes to make your events even safer from the virus. Okay, now we're getting to the financial support. We support conferences with a minimum of 50 international participants in 3 different stages. First, bidding stage, up to 30 million Korean won, which is about 25,000 US dollars. And second, promoting stage, up to 20 million Korean won, which is about 17,000 US dollars. and final hosting stage, 200 million Korean won, which is approximately 170,000 US dollars. And apart from the financial support, there are many other services we offer. For example, site inspections for the association's executives and meetings planners, Seoul promotional video clips, welcome souvenirs, Seoul My supporters, and so on. And that's the end of international conference part. Regarding the corporate meetings and incentive groups, we support a Seoul Welcome Kit and a variety of customized experiences for your corporate meetings and incentives. The Seoul Welcome Kit includes a Seoul souvenir for the participants to cherish the memories of the city and a Plus Seoul Premiums booklet. The booklet provides QR code for the participants to receive extra premiums provided by the Seoul Mice Alliance members. Customized experiences include Seoul's popular attraction admission, welcome drink or cookies with corporate logo, performances, team building activities. They also include corporate logo, bus wrapping, instant photo printing booth, IT services such as event application, robot, or VR experience, catering service by a food truck, snap video production, and a drone group photo. Okay, here's an example of a group came to Seoul last year. This group chose to have special snap video making for the customized support. Professional photographers and videographers took snap photos and videos of the participants during the tour, preserve special memories made in Seoul. Seoul warmly welcomed this group, came back for the third time with customized support, corporate logos on the buses, and in the drone group photo, and on the screens beside the welcoming message from Seoul. Seoul Convention Bureau also supported the group's public health and safety procedures by providing a thermal imaging camera and protective equipment such as hand sanitizers and facial masks for the participants to have most memorable time in the safest environment. Before I finish my presentation, I'd like to show you some of the pictures of the unique venues in Seoul. There are many options from traditional venues to modern to choose from. You could do your events inside or outside of these traditional venues. And of course, there are plenty of choices of fancy modern venues. There are some floating venues along the Han River, and they are one of the most popular unique venues in Seoul. You could take dinner cruise for your groups day and night. Beautiful parks along the Han River. Seoul is a perfect place for team building programs, making Korean traditional food, K-pop dance class, K-pop recordings. Temple stay is always one of the most popular ones. And water sports at the Han River is always a good option. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much, everyone, for the patience. I wish we will get through these tough times all together, and hope to see you soon in Seoul. Thank you.
Yes, we will. Some great photos there. I like the drone group photo. So next I will bring in Ellen Kim, Latte Hotels, who will tell us about her organization, and she's going to offer us a video as well.
Good afternoon, travel partners. I'm Ellen Kim at Lotte Hotels and Resort in New York office. It is an honor to be here and introducing Lotte Hotels to you all. Please be assured that Lotte Hotel is always committed to deliver the best service to our clients, especially amidst this global pandemic. Lotte Hotels are conducting safety hygiene practice in efforts to be prepared for and prevent any possible COVID-19 situations. In light of this pandemic, Lotte Hotel is working follow all global and local protocols and therefore will waive cancellation policy. Lotte Hotel is independent chain in Korea and is also the largest in Korea. Lotte Hotel has 21 hotels in Korea and 11 hotels globally. Next. Okay, the Lotte Hotel is an independent chain in Korea and then also has largest in Korea and 21 hotels across the Korea. Next. To begin, I will introduce the Lotte brand. Lotte Hotel has 5 different brand names. As you can see, the first brand is Signia. There are 2 Signias. As Julie mentioned before, Lotte Hotel Signia Seoul is the landmark building in Korea now. And there are 2 Signias, Signia Seoul and Signia Busan. Many of the elements of defined Signia, such as design, service, and gourmet cuisine, integrate aspects of traditional Korean culture. The beauty of Korea culture has been interpreted in a modern way so that guests can discover it and feel moved by its effects. Signia provide quality that rises of all your expectation. We offer the finest personal services along with the luxury style you can not find anywhere else. Treat yourself to life's greatest privilege by staying at Signia. Your stay will be the unforgettable experience. Next. The second brand is Lotte Hotels. Comfortable rooms in an elegant and modern style combined with warm and attentive services and delightful world of hot cuisine for the guests in a lifestyle and refined fitness club for the healthy life and largest duty-free shop in Korea. Whether it is business, leisure, or peaceful rest, Lotte Hotel has something for everyone. As you can see, Lotte Hotels, we have a couple of locations in Seoul. And as you can see, the beautiful pictures of our properties. And next, this is the Hotel Lottes in US as well, and Guam. Next, in global hotels in Russia. Next, and Vietnam as well. And next, and Myanmar, Yangon. Next. The next brand is City Hotels. Moving on to the next brand, L7 Hotel. The L7 brand is lifestyle hotel with a new concept and trendy style. It's presenting a place to rest in the middle of the city that is modern and comfortable and affordable. Okay, next. The next brand is Lotte City Hotels. Everyone has been designed ideally for business travelers, along with the modern services and stylish room, and business travel will be more comfortable than ever imagined. Lotte City Hotel wish to near you at all times to ensure you to enjoy every part of its hotels with ease. So now we have city hotels in all of the Korea as well as Japan and Uzbekistan. Next. The last one is Lotte Resort, presenting the best moments in your travel, adding enjoyment with the diverse range of the themes, including recreation and the leisure. The best facility and high quality service that harmonize with the great nature will create unforgettable memories with your loved one. Next. Regarding new openings, we have a recent open Signia Busan, and are preparing for the grand opening for the Lotte Hotel Signia later this year. Next. For Lotte Hotels and Resort COVID-19 global care and cleanliness commitment, there are key safety measures at all Lotte hotels. Measuring body temperature, monitoring wearing of face masks, ensure cleaning of hands, operating clean zones, and physical distance measures, and regular schedule for the cleaning and disinfecting. The next, measure body temperature, wear masks, and hand cleaning. Next. So we do have operating a clean zone. All chain hotels conducting regular disinfection to operate a clean zone, and we inform our guests of the zones located both inside and outside for the hotel with the signs. We can disinfect room reserved for a stay and put a clean zone sticker that read disinfected room on the door to help our guests feel safety. The next. And then the next. Okay. We at Lotte Hotels and will do our best to hygiene and disinfection levels so that our guests may feel safety and enjoy their stay in accordance with the guidance set out by the public health authorizations, WHO, and Korean Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. We will continue to keep up to date with the Lotte Hotels and Resorts clean care guidance and promise the safety level of hygiene to our guests. Now, I will now play a video displaying the manner in which previously mentioned the COVID-19 procedure will be enforced. Please note that the video is not in English. However, it is a great visual presentation on our protocols. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you so much. And now we're going to move into the Q&A portion of our webinar. I encourage the audience to send questions, and if you want to address them to someone specific, just include that with your question. But these folks are here for you for the next few minutes. So let's start with airlift and flight time. I'll give this one to either Jury or Steve. Can you tell us a little about, from the US, your airlift situation right now and the average flight time, depending obviously on where you're coming from?
Julie?
Jury?
Yeah,
Steve?
the flight time. Yes, the flight time is about 10 to 15 hours, but the West Coast is more closer to Korea, which takes about like 10 hours or 11 hours. But in the eastern part, it takes like about 14 hours to get directly to Incheon International Airport.
Okay. And certain more popular departure cities than others?
Obviously, the like
Or-
major cities like LAX or like JFK, those are the ones that like have the many airlines directly to Korea, and the other major cities in US as well.
And there are directs. So,
Yes.
yeah. Terrific. Tell us about, this is my question. Tell us about the status of a convention business there. When did it start coming back? Are there any in the United States? There are group size requirements. Is there anything like that there? It's very clear that you have created very rigid safety protocols, but I'm curious about the kind of the status of convention groups coming to all these fabulous facilities.
Yeah, maybe I can answer that.
Okay.
Well, because like our economy closed, even though we had the pandemic earlier in the year, so also for meetings industry, it's like working like normal. So on May, our largest convention center, Kintex, they hosted a big exhibition hosting more than 45,000 delegates, and they hosted it very successfully after implementing like safety protocols. So like after the event, they had no infections at all. They have implemented safety measures like wearing masks and keep the social distancing and like checking the temperature upon entering. So those like protocols made it possible to host the event successfully.
Right. So that's pretty standard, it sounds like. Yeah,
Yes.
because we're just starting to get to the point of even opening up these events. So it's very interesting. We really look to Korea to learn how to do this. I've got another question. Are you going to be accepting visitors to the US, or are you now, unlike the EU, where right now US visitors are not accepted?
Yeah, our border is still open, like so the US citizens can come to Korea. However, like as Mr. Young has mentioned in the opening, we have like 14-day mandatory quarantine. So like all the individuals entering to Korea, regardless of nationalities, they have to be quarantined at the government facilities for 14 days. However, some of people who have the quarantine exemption certificate who are visiting for like business purpose or attending the international conferences, they can apply for the exemption certificate from the embassies of Korea.
So
Other than that, yeah.
So that is directly to the U.S. Embassy or the which embassy?
Any consulate office in major city like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Atlanta. We have more than 10 consulate offices in United States. So wherever you are near, then you can visit and apply for the certificate. Then you don't need to go through the 14-day long quarantine.
Okay, so Juliet digs a little deeper here. Are you able to be admitted if you have proof negative COVID-19 tests?
Even though they get the negative test, they still have to be quarantined for 14 days for now.
Okay. Can you tell us about the dollar equivalent? This is from Todd, from US to Korea.
$1 is about 1,200 in Korean won. Approximately 1,200.
All righty. A lot of very specific questions. I'm looking for a couple that are a little more general. Why don't you tell us about the must-see attractions for meeting groups? If they're going to do a day trip from Seoul, maybe we could give this one to Dowie. What do you suggest?
How many delegates?
They didn't say, so let's do a kind of a rough estimate of like under 500.
Well, if they're looking for a unique venues, in my presentation, I introduced floating island. That's the artificial unique venue on the Han River. That's one of the most popular, and I would recommend that.
And is that a bus coach right away from the hotels? How would they
yes,
get
closest one is JW Marriott Gangnam. Takes about 5 minutes.
there? Okay.
So, for example, they do a conference or meeting at the hotel, and they do a gala dinner at the floating venue.
What about half-day trips from Seoul? I know I was fortunate to go to see the DMZ. There are so many options. Do you want to just touch on a couple of those for groups with a little more
Sure.
time and a smaller group?
Well, DMZ tour, DMZ is really close to Seoul. They could do a half-day trip to DMZ. Well, they could do a entire day as well. But the city is basically surrounded by the mountain, and in the center of the city, there's a river, the Han River I just mentioned. So you could do a lot of activities on the mountain, on the river. It's all within city, so if they could try those, I'd recommend that for a half-day trip in Seoul.
Right. In way of cultural attractions, if they wanted to get a sense of history. You want to talk about a couple of your favorites?
Well, Seoul's divided into two halves. Again, I'm mentioning Han River again. Northern part of Seoul is traditional and historical part of Seoul, and on the southern part of Seoul, it's modern and more trendy. So they could try to experience those two different experiences at the same time for a short period of time. So I would recommend visiting royal palaces, and historical places, some of the UNESCO heritage sites as well.
Okay. I have one of our audience members who wants a little bit more information about hotels around COEX. So what are the options? What are the most commonly used properties for COEX convention?
Well, the good thing about COEX is the main convention center of Seoul. And the good thing about the COEX is has subway line going through the convention center, and taxis, buses, everywhere. And around COEX there are, I'll say, about 3, 4, 5 5-star hotels. Within that complex, we have 2 intercontinental hotel and Park Hyatt and things like that. So it's really good location.
Yeah.
To have your meetings,
And are any of them connected? I believe there were hotels connected to COEX.
Connected, yes, some of them.
Okay. All right. So it really is a complex in a sense.
It's a complex. You could take a bus straight to there's a bus terminal in that complex and takes you directly to the airport, international airport, Incheon International Airport. And on the bottom, on the basement, it's a huge shopping area, movie theaters, shopping, a lot of eateries and everything. So it's really convenient and good place to be.
Okay, it's absolutely. I certainly don't want to leave out latte, so I'm going to ask Ellen a question. Certainly want to hear a little bit about how U.S. groups, do you work with U.S. groups, and are they more incentive oriented, and which properties do they tend to choose in the latte collection?
And since I mentioned about before, we do have a lot of hotels in Korea.
A lot of hotels.
Yes, so it was total 21 in Seoul, in Korea. So that for the group and incentive, for the individual FITs, everybody are welcome. And then Lotte Hotel has, very reasonable and affordable price range. Means that I mentioned about the 5 different brand names. So Deluxe Hotel and Lotte Hotel,
Right.
Signal, and then
Signal.
the City and L7. Those are the for the business group. So it depends on how many people are travel. And then having a convention in Korea, we can accommodate everything. Under the Lotte, you can do everything. So believe us and then give us the chance. And then many RFPs we can accommodate for you.
Okay. Okay, this is interesting. Little out of the mice market, but I'd love to hear. Any suggestions for a 5-day, 4-night tour? So perhaps this is more like an incentive group, an add-on tour after the main program. What would you suggest?
Okay, surely you can stay Lotte Hotel in Seoul. So Seoul is the major in the capital city. So definitely you have to stay there. And
Right.
then Lotte has the Lotte Busan, Signal and Lotte Hotels in Busan, the second largest cities in Korea. And also Jeju Island is a beautiful, tropical island, which is we call the Little Hawaii. So it also has a Lotte in there. So you can stay the Seoul 2 nights and 1 night for Busan, and at least you have to stay the 2 nights in Jeju. So it's gonna be 5 days.
So I see Jury nodding her head. Is that a popular combination? And are there any others?
Oh, absolutely. Jeju Island and Busan are the most popular destination in Korea. So if you stay for 5 days, you will have to visit those destinations. Because Korea is compacted country, it doesn't take a long time to get to those destinations. So as in my presentation, you can get to Busan within 2 hours by high-speed train. You can also get to the island in 1 hour with the domestic flight. So yeah, those are the good options if you stay 5 days.
And such a different feeling, so resorty and relaxing. So
absolutely.
Okay, I do have one other. Okay, this is back. I guess we'll end with a couple of COVID questions because I've got so many of them. This is from Phoebe. How is thermal imaging managed for large groups at your events? So could you describe what that feels like when they enter and so forth? Whoever feels like they want to take that one. Jury? Thermal imaging. How does it work for a large group? Are there multiple entrances, or I think they're looking for something more specific.
Right, at the airport.
Yeah, I think at the entrance, they install the thermal imaging camera to detect if delegate has any fever. So if they are inspected with any high temperatures, they can be maybe treated before entering the event. So like that is the important thing to be assured for the safety for other delegates as well.
So I think we're going to wrap with another from Todd, who's a very active participant here. Thank you, Todd. He's asking about if people want to go out on their own, if they are attending a convention and they want to see a venue, go to a venue or attend, have dinner at a restaurant. Are there any restrictions? In the US, we have various, some hotels, some restaurants right now are only seating outside. What is it like there? And are you seating at full capacity? That's another big one.
We don't have too much restrictions at the restaurants. We don't really have that much restrictions. Not like the US.
Okay.
Is he talking about like dress code and things like that?
No, I think it's safety restrictions. Are you at full capacity, which would, you know, be great. If not, there would be a much longer wait and tougher to get into a restaurant. So it sounds like you're back to business as usual in restaurants.
Oh, well, yes. Almost fully. Well, we don't get tourists and, you know, incentive groups and things like that, but it's the restaurants and everything else is, you know, fully running these days.
Good. Well, good to hear.
In Korea, everything in Korea, I like to tell something. In Korea, everything's open. Even the professional baseball game open with spectators. Even though we have some limitation on the spectators, maybe 30%, 50% of the capacity, but everything's open. We never lock down the country, any cities. We just follow the strict protocol from the government, social distancing, washing your hand, wearing a mask. That's a basic, very important to get it, to contain the virus.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You are a model for us all. So it's good to hear that and encouraging for us. So I'm going to end on that positive note. I can't thank you enough for being here. To Steve, Jury, Dowie, and Ellen, thank you so much for the hour. And to the audience, thank you for participating. And we hope to see you again at another event soon. Have a great rest.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Park, and thank you, Judy and Ellen. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.